Cheers, everybody. Ginger and lemon tea, mate.
Oh,
the hard stuff.
Very fancy.
It's close to my bedtime, to be fair.
Do you want me to read your story, Boo Boo?
I wouldn't mind. It's good timing for it, to be fair.
Just checking we're live.
Checking in. Somebody is there.
Do you read bedtime stories to your kids? I can't imagine you reading bedtime stories. I don't know why.
Why not?
I don't know. Do you?
I'm forced to. I normally read them Greek books.
Or the story of the candlesticks. This little candlestick went down, down, down. This little candlestick went up, up, up. Now tell me, darling.
I've taught my 4-year-old. She knows. She knows.
Now
Bread means up, bread means down.
Now tell me, darling, is this a ascending triangle or a wedge? No, you can't sleep until you can identify the chart pattern.
That's it.
Start on young, mate.
Let me know the so most parents are teaching their kids how to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm teaching her the Fibonacci ratios.
Wow.
So when they're saying, "Oh, tell me some numbers," 1, 2, my one's 61.8. There you go, boom. Take that, you stupid kids.
Can't say anything to that.
Huh?
Can't say anything to that. No. I got a couple of friends that they're getting their kids into cryptos early. They're getting their kids to pick out cryptos, and the cryptos that they're picking are doing better than the adult who knows about cryptos. It's amazing how these kids just have like an affinity to it, right?
Yeah, it's the latest thing. It's the latest trends. So if you start to grow up with this stuff, you will see it everywhere. Yeah,
and obviously as it gets more and more adapted, anybody that's here, anybody that's taking action in cryptos, it's kind of cutting edge, but it's going to be it's definitely going to be mainstream by the time the next generation of kids my friend, like his kids are below 10, easily below 10, and they're like, "Dad, we should be getting into VeChain. Dad, we should be getting into Cardano," whatever it is, you know. It's fascinating. It really, really is fascinating. So thank you to everybody who's logging in. If you're new, whoever it was, Facebook user, you won the competition. We have a little competition that's become a competition. Who can say the first comment? Hi, everyone. That's pretty special. You've got some fast fingers there to get that much in and still be first. But we don't know who you are. We can't celebrate you atop of the leaderboard. So you need to log into the StreamYard link, please, so that we can see who you are and celebrate your fantastic fingers.
Maybe we should set up a league table for this, mate, so we keep track of it. We'll get Ben to do it. 3 points for first place, 2 points for second, 1 point for third.
What's the prize? You're gonna call someone up and give them a bedtime story on Fibonacci.
Could do, yeah.
People want it, mate. People want it.
Nice Tash, Gav.
I need a haircut.
Shave this bit, mate. Just go for the Hitler. Try it. Why not? See if it makes you feel different. See if it makes you feel more powerful.
What, everybody should channel their inner Hitler? Is that what you're saying?
No, just you. I didn't say anything about anyone else, mate.
Yeah, I know. When your fashion sense, mate. Your fashion sense.
Yeah.
I will reveal. Wow, we're playing games. If I reveal myself, will you bold, Gav? So people want me to grow out a tash and shave my head.
But a Hitler tash. If enough people want it, mate, you have,
No.
It's only fair.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's not very caring for others.
Not at all, mate. we have to put ourselves first. We have to hold ourselves accountable, which I've done this week. And that's, yeah, if people want me to shave my head, then show me how it's done first. Inspire me. You shave your head first, and then maybe I will follow. But I'm not doing that. I will lead myself. Thank you very much. But thanks for trying to get everybody to vote for me to shave my head. That's not why we're here. We are here to talk all things cryptos. And obviously, as I said, thank you, Dominicus. Good evening, gents. Looking good as always, even with the Tash and a little goatee. I love that picture, by the way. Awesome photo. We love to see your photos. So yeah, one thing that fascinates me about the world of cryptos, and obviously, again, we've had a couple of kind of little mini flash sales from Bitcoin this week, haven't we? And kind of a few people are freaking out, but if you look at the charts, it's really just kind of retracing back to its trend line. And as you said in one of your videos, it's to be expected, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the video, but I was kind of really present to, how people deal with setbacks. And a big part of it, what I was saying is like actually being prepared. So I think a lot of people are not prepared. They're not prepared to see the red. It's like we just want to keep seeing green. They're kind of used to that in cryptocurrencies on a bull run. And actually, like, if you've ever traded the stock market, it's similar. Like when you're trading stocks and it's going up all the time, it's not too dissimilar, except now you're getting like crazy moves because this is a very new thing. So yeah, no, it's and I think a big part of learning how to make money in cryptocurrencies, well, especially even for me, has been to just be absolutely ready for that. Like, don't just expect it to be green. Yes, we want it to go up, and sometimes we get attached to sort of like, I mean, I do anyway. Like I'm looking to hit the next go up, so just growing the account. I've got a figure in mind where I want to be by the end of April, for example. And then you're like, oh, there's a pullback now. So, but what I normally do is I am prepared for that pullback and I'm buying them cheap. So I can talk about some of the stuff that I've been buying when it's been cheap. So more than happy to, I've been posting them in the Elite Crypto Traders Club group. Hopefully some people have been taking them, but yeah, I mean, it's just literally being prepared. Sometimes it's just a trade there. I can't even got time to post it. I just see it. And I think you were sort of alluding to it in your video, mate, about instinct.
Spider sense. You have a sixth sense for this. Was that something that you had straight away, or is that something that you've honed and refined?
I think it's just like I get really engrossed in what I do. I get really engrossed, like it almost like the market's become me. So it's just all I think about. I'm fully all in. Like when I do this, when I do something, I have to do it 100% and more. So it's just, I think it's in everyone. Anybody's got it. Everybody's got that sort of instinct, that intuition. But I think it's just about kind of like bringing it out and being confident. It's about confidence, actually. A big part of it is confidence. Like, I know how, for example, I know how to drive a car. And if I've never driven a particular car, I'm still going to be pretty confident I'll drive it very, very well. Like, even if it's like let's say a faster car than you're used to, or bigger car that you're used to. Like the difference between FX and cryptos, for example, I know that I'm a very good driver. I can jump in and I'll drive it, no issues, not even thinking about it. But I know people that are not very confident drivers who go on holiday and they're renting a car out and they're stressed out for a week trying to drive this Suzuki Vitara. or whatever, like some rubbish car. But do you know what I mean? And I've seen that, and they're stressed out that they're going to crash it or they're going to scratch it, and they're driving like this. So it's like, so I think you have to be confident, and then that kind of then brings that side of you out of you. Like I think anyway.
I mean, firstly, if anybody does drive a Suzuki Vitara, I'm sure they're great cars. No offense. I drove one in Barbados, I think it was. Mate, it was great fun. Suzuki Vitara is a great fun, but I understand the point that you're trying to make. I understand the point that you're trying to make for sure. But it's definitely an interesting one. And you know, for me, just as I say, I'm keeping myself accountable. It's rather than this rush to a destination, I want to enjoy this journey and process it. And you know, the rush to the money is great, but the gold is in the journey and seeing what's coming up and seeing limiting beliefs that are coming up, seeing overconfidence that's coming up, seeing where I need to pick up my confidence. Just learning more about myself on a deeper level is thrilling. And when I take a step back from the battle lines, it really is fascinating to me. And yeah, 7 months in, and you know, I've had some highs and I've had some lows, and I'll carry on. The end of the day is we don't lose until we give up. So yeah, if you're brand new to this and you want to get started, start taking some action. And maybe you've taken action for years and you've never gotten anywhere. You know, trading side of it is pretty straightforward, isn't it? It seems to be the battle is within. And as soon as you start clearing out the landscape, things get easier and easier and easier. But then some things come up for us to work at, right? Am I going off on too much of a kind of a tangent with that, or would you agree with that, Mr. Demi?
Yes and no. No, yes. I mean, like you have to enjoy the journey for sure. But you've got to be like completely dedicated to results. So there's like a real fine line. So like enjoy the journey, but be dedicated and focused on actually achieving your goal. So don't forget that part. So like, I think there's a balance between, you know, let's play around a little bit. Oh, it doesn't matter if I've missed the trade. Well, it doesn't matter. Why did you miss the trade? Like, you know, or if you know, why did you mess up? Like, you know, why didn't you know? Why didn't you have your, can I swear, your shit together? Like to be prepared. Why not? What could you have done? Like, you know, like for example, Sab this morning was saying like he had all these alerts, everything was set up, and then he wasn't feeling it, and he only took one of the 4 trades, and actually he would have made a lot more money had he taken them, but he didn't feel right about it. Sab doesn't mind if I bring him up, but the point is like we could just let that go, but actually it's a good opportunity to just say, well, okay, what was it that you weren't prepared? Why were you not prepared? What was going on? Was it something we could fix for the next time? And then kind of like we've kind of given them a few things now. But the point is like, yes, enjoy stuff and learn and be in and not be attached to outcome, but be hungry for outcome. There's a difference. Be prepared to make money. Like, if you're not, you're never going to do it. Your account's just going to be break even, and then you're going to be like, eventually you're going to get really fed up of that. So it's that, and I'm the same. I'm enjoying the process, but when I'm seeing pullbacks, I'm not just saying, oh, it's fine. It's not. No, it's not. I'm hunting for those trades. I'm like, right, where's the opportunity? Which one's undervalued? Which one's below the VWAP? Which one hasn't gone yet? Which one's holding up? Like all these things are going in my head, and I'm hunting. I'm literally hungry to find those, because I'm like, okay, right now my account is retracing, and I need to be prepared for this next run back up. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm saying, okay, well, which one can I offload? It's not performing well. It's squeezing, like, and which one's about to go? So it's like real activity to get on the right trades. So it's the only way to kind of like stay on top of your game, in my opinion. So do you know what I mean by like having a balance? Like you have to like still be focused on getting those outcomes, getting those results.
Yeah.
It's like it's like, sorry, one more thing. Just it's like the football striker who doesn't shoot and he always wants to pass, but his goal is to get goals. That's his job. So, you know, and it's like that. So it's like, yes, do all the things that you need to do, develop, be hungry to develop and learn from your mistakes, but make sure you don't make the same mistake twice. So for you, Gavin, you said you messed up with Binance. If you tell me that you messed up with Binance next week, then I'm going to have a go at you.
Yeah.
And it's like that. So, because then that's not an excuse anymore. So you've done it once. Now it's about say, right, what action do I need to take to fix that before I take another trade? Because then you're not learning from your mistakes.
100%.
I've told you, I made about a 20 grand mistake on Binance when a few months ago, where I thought I'd won about 20 grand on a trade, and I wasn't in it. So, and then I had to like absolutely figure out what the hell happened. I was speaking to Binance on the chat, and I had to understand exactly all the nuances of why that trade didn't happen. And then it was like, okay, I get it now. It's clear to me. And that's how we learn sometimes. Sometimes we have to learn from a mistake.
For sure.
Yeah. Sorry if I'm being a little bit sort of overzealous, or it's probably my tiredness, mate. I'm not in a very jovial mood.
No, this is, I mean, look, at the end of the day, sometimes it needs to be said straight. And, you know, not just to me, but this is a message for everybody. Because, you know, if you're not willing to have a straight word with yourself, then you're just cheating yourself. But Andy's going to be there to have a straight word with you. Make no bones about that. And yeah, I appreciate that, mate, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, somebody was sorry to kind of deviate. Somebody was posting something in the other group about their trade. It was with their FX trading. I don't know if you saw it, but like again, it was just like, I think sometimes you have to just kind of like, you can say, oh, well done for getting your P&L on the demo account, but I think people need constructive feedback, otherwise you don't grow. And if you're not up for it, unfortunately, this game is not for you, because it's a tough business. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be a little mouse.
Yeah. What was the post about?
Do you know what? I won't get into it because we're going to move away from this show. No, you can read it after. It was nothing major.
Okay.
But,
all right. Maybe
because otherwise we're going to deviate. I just realised we're deviating. We're going into FX, which is not really relevant. So
first time we've done it that way around, right? Talked about FX in cryptos. Normally it's cryptos in FX. We're keeping the side right. And yeah, I mean, look, there's so many people slaying it. And I remember speaking when I did a testimonial with one of your older students. You know, she's now a full-time professional trader, fully funded, gives you loads of credit, but she had so much issues. It took her for her 18 months. We have people that come on and within 18 weeks, they're up and running and in the green. So I guess it's an individual journey as well. But like you say, the key takeaway is to have your goals focused on, but to be released from the outcome at the same time. So you're taking action towards your goals, and have faith that it, you know, at the end of the day, whatever happens to me now, I celebrate, because I know it's for my greatest good. And as long as I steer that belief and faith into the direction that I want to go, e.g. to make this a positive experience on the P&L side, I think that's the fusion of both. And I don't know whether that's kind of a bit too spiritual for you in your hedge fund, no BS mode. It'll be interesting to be back now. This is the Andy I like to speak to about this, because you're like, no, mate, that's crap. Or yes, actually, you've got a point. So
no,
where are you on that?
I think like the word celebrate wins or losses, that doesn't really appeal to me. I can't say that I celebrate or I accept losses as part of the game, but I'm not kind of I'm not okay with it, if I'm being honest. Like it's like of course it's part of the game, but it makes me hungry to make sure that that goes back in the green. So it's like I use it as energy.
Exactly.
Like that's
why
the
you
best way.
celebrate it rather than use it as a disaster. Yeah, of course. Make sure you hold yourself accountable. You by doing it in that way, you hold yourself the most accountable. But instead of just like recoiling and saying, "Oh, this is bad," or "The world's against me," or "I'm so rubbish,"
No, that's the extreme. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And but the extreme is like most people that achieve greatness have some sort of obsession to it. But obsession can go two ways. It can either create madness or it can create mastery. And luckily for you, I think you're just straddling on the side of mastery more than madness, right?
Yes, that's for you, for others to decide, not me, mate. But yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I think the point you're trying to make is that a red situation, a pullback, a retracement, whatever the situation, liquidating positions, all the things that happen, stop outs. It's not something to start, being all doom and gloom about and feeling sorry for yourself. And that's kind of, again, about what I was saying, which is be prepared for it, because it will happen in any market. And it will happen in cryptos. And the thing is, this with cryptos, it's different to FX, because with FX, you don't tend to get these insane moves out of nowhere. It's a bit more predictable. So you don't necessarily in FX. I mean, I don't normally hold positions overnight. I do very rarely. With cryptos, I am holding stuff overnight. Why? Because well, some of them I'm looking at longer term stuff, but the other thing is as well is that when you're in stuff and you're at the right time, you just don't know when this is going to explode higher. And like, you can't just wait and say, "Oh, I'll get in it the next day." Because I think like Lorian, for example, I think he was saying about Zeal, he was in it and then he got out of it probably to protect himself. And then an hour later, it's like it's up 20-30%. So
yeah, I did that with VeChain as well.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like, and then you've missed that, and you were in it, and you haven't got that 30%. That 30%, I like the 30% to think of it like a buffer, because now it's like, okay, now I've added 30% on, and then you're coming from a different space, aren't you? Whereas when you've missed it, your account's still the same, and it's like you've still got to. I always find like trying to get that initial growth for the month is important, because it just relaxes you a bit and allows you to take more and more good trades. So
very interesting in that. One thing that you said about when Sab was saying about he took 1 out of 4 trades, and I know this, and I've spoken to a few other people as well. You just like when the market goes down so quickly in cryptos, and you're seeing like all these reds flashing up on your watch list. They are trying to get into our head, aren't they? They are totally trying to get into our head to make you second guess it, because like you say, if you look at it without emotion, without the last 5 minutes leading up and the screens are tanking and your positions are tanking, and then if you look at the screen just as it is without emotion and say, well, that's just retraced to this key area. Like, I think that's the ability with your experience to say, I'm not falling for your crap. I understand you're trying to misdirect almost. Is that fair where we're going with that? Like that game,
yeah.
Psychological warfare level.
It is that. And, I think what's really, really important is, I'll tell you something that I do that will help people. When you're uncomfortable, you've got to realize where your uncomfort is in your body. So everybody has a point where they feel uncomfortable, stress, whatever the word is. Like, where's yours? Just out of interest, I'll put you on the spot. I know it instantly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't refined it. It's possibly 2 places. So that's something I need to do some work on.
Yeah. Anybody know theirs? Like when you're feeling a little bit stressed, a little bit uncomfortable, where does it kind of show up for you? It's something you should be aware of.
Yeah, I sometimes I get confused between my throat and my stomach. And my throat sometimes
is a common one.
Yours,
Mine is here. Mine is here, back of my head. There.
Back of my head.
So I'm aware of it. So when I'm looking at something, and I'm in it, and I'm thinking, okay, and I'm trying to figure out, right, and I'm doing obviously the normal work that we do, the technical analysis, and you're trying to figure out where it's going to go. Is it going to go back to its Fibonacci extension here? Is it going to go back to $1? Is it going to turn here? And you're trying to figure it all out with all obviously having a position, especially if you've got a decent position in it, and like every second you're like, you're either up a grand or down a grand, like when it's like a decent sized position. You've got to think. And when I feel uncomfortable, I can feel it here. And what I normally do, I'll either reduce the position or I'll close the position. And what that does, it removes the emotion. And then I can go back in and look at look at it again from fresh eyes and make a decision whether it's a good idea to get back in. And if I do get back in, I'm not going in the same position size. I'm going for a smaller position size, and I'm going to slowly build it up. I'm going to go look at some other cryptos and come back to it. So I'm now looking at it from another fresh pair of eyes. So I'm just slowly removing all that attachment, all the emotion around it. Plus, do you know what makes me comfortable? As a little tip for everybody, one thing you might be thinking is, oh yeah, but what if I miss the trade? You won't miss the trade. What are you going to do, guys? What do we always tell you to do?
Set an alert.
Set an alert. So you say, right, okay, set an alert, 10 cents higher, 5 cents higher, 15 cents higher, and a little bit lower as well, 5, 10, 15. And now you're covered. So you can just relax. You've got a little position. You're back in it. You're going to try and figure it all out. But in the meantime, let's change your mind. Let's go somewhere else. Let's start looking somewhere else or do something else. Set your alerts. And then once you're back on form and that kind of stress is gone, you can start to make good decisions again. And that stops you from losing a lot of money. That attachment, the thing that you were talking about with you, where you couldn't let go of that trade and you let it go. What you could have done is closed it, or reduced the position. Ideally closed it, because if it's gone where you did, because you could always get back in. That's the thing you've got to tell yourself. It's like, okay, why don't I just close it and just watch the price? Like, is it a good time to get back into this? Do I think it's going back up? And if you'd maybe done that, and I know you kind of you said in your video that you got done by Binance and not understanding the liquidation, but also I don't think that was part of your plan, was it? I guess like to just leave it, because you were scalping and then you decided to leave it because in kind of mid trade, I guess.
Yeah.
And we justify it because we think, yeah, it will recover anyway. This is a good one. It's going to go up anyway. The daily's strong, whatever we say to ourselves to convince ourselves. But then it's like you're now kind of out of plan. Like you've got no map anymore. That's the problem. So you're still on your journey, still driving, but there's no map anymore. There's no clarity. And what that does is it takes away your confidence on that setup. Whereas when you were scalping and you're like, bang, geometric angle broken, boom, out. Next one. And then this one hasn't worked, close it down, and then look again. So when you're in that zone, you know what you're doing, you're confident, and you can make money. So you have it, you just you just didn't use it, or kind of that's what it was.
And it was like the most intense. Scalping in cryptos is the most intense experience. I don't know if you've dabbled much in like the 5-minute scalping. I'm sure you have, because you've done all facets of this and you're a master at it. But yeah, it definitely caught on to some emotions in there, and just especially when you start doing well at it and then you just kind of like ride that wave. And yeah, for sure, clarity and a plan. And I take full responsibility for that, and in not having that set up fully enough. So I know where I need to address. Going back to the feelings that you've asked about with people. So Anthony, thanks for your comment. He feels it in his heart. Gary feels it. I'm not sure if that's knee or neck. I'm guessing neck.
Maybe his knee and his neck.
I like that. Lorian in his chest. So interesting positions for everyone. And I guess this answers the question that came in from Tony. Andy, how long, and this kind of just goes back to what you said, so hopefully we clarified that one. Andy, how long would you stay in a trade for if the trade is in the red? The reason I asked, I had a trade in the red for 2 days, but that one came in good today.
I think that the thing about it is not necessarily how long it should be in the red or not. It's where's your stop, where's your target, and what's your plan for that trade. So if you're just kind of buying something and you're not putting a stop, for example, and you're just holding it until it comes back and makes you some money, at some point it's going to have there could be a big drawdown and it could completely wipe your account out. So you can't really measure it in terms of days. You have to measure it in terms of, you know, doing correct risk management and saying, well, look, this is the most I'm willing to lose on this trade. What dollar amount are you willing to lose on this trade? And that's it. And you just work from that. You calculate your position size, you put your stop in. The only time you should be exiting early is if you no longer want to be in the trade, or if you found a better trade that you want to move your money over, and you don't want to open up too much risk. But you should be calculating your portfolio risk. You know, how much are you risking overall as well? So you got to be prepared. Like, you got to be prepared for it not going in your direction. So, yeah.
Awesome. Comment from Sab, you have to be cutting edge when trading crypto. I think so. So the question on everybody's lips right now, I think, is Cardano going to be coming down to just over $1 before it goes back up? I've set my limit order in for 101.6, I think.
What's the price at the moment?
I think I had a quick cheeky look. Yeah. It's 10. What is it? 106, I think, was it? I've been asleep, so.
It's not 111.60.
111. So. Yeah.
Well, possibly. I mean, anything's possible.
I think we all know it's going to hit 2 at some stage, right? It's just where do you get in and what happens to it before that stage. Sorry to cut you off, but that's the game. This is the game in a nutshell, right? Yeah,
absolutely that. I mean, I'd say that I'm extremely confident that we'll see that at $2 at some point. It's just the case of, and that's the thing as well, when you're making a decision, for example, you know, what's the safe way of doing it? Well, if you want the safest way of doing it, you buy it at spot, and you just hold it and don't look at it. And at some point it will be probably $2, $3, $4, $5, and you'll make a good return on investment. However, obviously we're looking to make a little bit more than that. And unless you're, you know, putting in a lot of money, you're not going to be sort of making huge returns by doing that. So that's when leverage comes in. But with leverage comes more risk, and timing the market becomes a little bit more important, because otherwise you're sitting through drawdown, and then the drawdown, if it gets too big, you won't be able to maintain that, and the losses won't, you know, be sustainable. So it is a kind of, it's a game, and you've got to make a decision on, firstly, what size do you want to buy, how much risk do you want to put in, and where's the cutting off point for you, like, because we can be confident of something, but something can be announced anytime and that Cardano is broken. Their systems are, it's not a match for Ethereum actually, and their tests are, whatever it might be that gets announced, and it's dead, and you've put everything into it, believing it will at least definitely get to $2 at some point. So you have to look at the risk, because nothing is for sure. Could it go to? Is it impossible for it to go below $1? I don't think so. It's not impossible for it to go below $1. So you've just got to make a decision. Basically, do I try and time it a little bit lower? Do I average in? So like the most sensible thing to do is to buy a reasonable amount and look for good entry prices, and make sure that if it does go much lower, that your account isn't going to be in jeopardy. That's the kind of key thing. Are you there, Gavin? Because you're a bit frozen. Gavin, Wi-Fi, are you there? Can anyone? There he is. Guys, can you hear Gavin Wi-Fi? Because he's
Mate, what? This is so interesting. In the last 2 days, my phone's conked out. My other laptop is stopped. The microphone stopped working, and now the internet on my Mac is playing up. Are you there? You still got me, yeah?
I've still got you, mate.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, we need to put some. What was it? Frosty said something. Need some crypto coins in the meter. 100% for sure. But I'll re-listen to that back. But hopefully, hopefully you guys got some value from that question. Just whilst we're there on the questions, I saw a question about brokers that I just wanted to bring up. By the way, it was Fred Martin who was the first one to comment, Andy. It was me. I didn't realize I had to sign in. So thank you for that, Fred. And congratulations for being the winner of our little competition. Here we go. So another Facebook user. So if you log in on the StreamYard link, please, so we know who you are. Can we talk about brokers and how money goes round in banks, please, as it's different for crypto in the UK than just spread betting?
Sorry, I wasn't. Can we talk about brokers and how money goes around in banks, please, as it is different for crypto in UK, just spread betting? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Is it different for crypto? How the money goes round in banks? Is it different in cryptos than it is for just spread betting? I guess the stock market or FX.
How it goes around in banks? I'm not sure what that means. I mean, there's a real exchange, so we're not. So with spread betting or CFDs, they are derivatives, and you can trade cryptos using those with regulated brokers. But what we're doing through Binance is trading directly with other people, like on an exchange. So this is much more transparent than say spread betting or CFDs, because those are kind of made up prices. So this is actually real buyers and sellers being matched by the exchange. So in terms of in FX, it is, I mean, this is more similar to how you would trade the futures markets or stocks, let's say. FX, if you do ECN and STP, which basically matches you up with somebody, that's basically the similarity. But if you're doing spread betting or CFDs, then they're derivatives, and I don't really recommend them, especially for cryptos, because the spreads are huge. normally.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. And Julie said, hi, Julie, you once said not to put all investment in one crypto. Makes a lot of sense with what you have said with Cardano. Glad to be of service, Julie. Hope your crypto trading is going well this week. So with that being said, obviously looking at the difference, I think what would be a great practice to do, I know that I'm going to try and do it and build that into my actual routine, is get with that feeling, identify that feeling in the body and start to use that as an indicator, because I now see what you mean about everybody has that ability. If you let that guide you in the trade, and work out what feeling means what in the body, and kind of just play around with that, right? And then add that into your plan, add that into your entry and your exit and your overall technical analysis. And I think then we're building out a whole nother level of this trading game.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of look at it like as in you can be an outside observer of yourself without kind of getting too psychological for people, but that's basically what you're trying to do.
I think people will vibe with that, mate. The people we've got here are quite cerebral. And if they're not, then there's definitely layers to this game. And you've just opened up another part in my mind. I've realized that I felt like I'm the watcher of me watching when I've just been staring at the order book. And I don't know if that's healthy or not. And it's drained a lot of time and energy. But what you've just said there is gold, I think. Be the watcher of yourself, but still be aware of your plan and your direction of where you're going. I think that's super powerful.
Yeah, it's important. Because ultimately you're the man in control of your decisions. So you have to kind of and we have different selves and we have different moments when we're trading. So like the person that turns up today may be a different person to the next day. So like in terms of like how you're feeling, right? Which is important. So when you're up, when your account is up and you're flying, you're feeling very ecstatic and really confident. And again, it's having the awareness to observe that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, and we can go really off piste with that conversation, which will probably be a bit too psychological. But I think the limit will be when you start talking about when you go astral traveling or astral projections whilst you're trading. That will probably be the limit, and I'll say, mate, you need to tone it down a bit. But until then, I think all things are open. All things are open for that. So with regards to the time that we've got left, with that, all that being said, can you share one of your trades and just maybe just do a little breakdown of one of why it worked and whether it followed your plan or whether it went differently, and you had to use that feeling in your neck to kind of amend whilst in the trade? So either or really would be great.
Yeah, sure. Let me see. So what I'm basically generally doing is, I'll show you. Hold on. I'll bring up what I posted on one of the. I mean, I've posted so many, but this one again, and this is a good example actually of. I don't know if you guys can see, but this one was Ripple. So I put here kind of XRP, could be good buy zone around 50 cents. And this was the picture that I had. And so what am I doing here? Well, firstly, if I I'll come back to that picture in a second. So right now, obviously we know that Bitcoin has broken its all-time high, and multiple times. Ethereum broke its all-time high. Cardano reached its all-time high. Now, when we think back, when I got started in cryptocurrencies, which were the biggest coins? Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple. Now, I'm not a big fan of Ripple. I'm going to kind of say that. And I almost dismissed it, like, because of my opinion of it. And this is where you have to be like open-minded and say, well, okay, I'm not looking to fall in love with the project. I'm looking to make money from an opportunity. And that's a really, really important thing. So what I kind of realized is I'm looking for value, and I was never even looking at Ripple, and I don't even know why, because this is undervalued. Why is it undervalued? Because bad news came out. That's why it's undervalued. Now, we know the news. And is the news permanent? No. Like, basically, I can't remember the exact details, but is it classed as security, and not crypto, this and that? So basically, that's still kind of ongoing. But what am I seeing here? Well, I'm seeing something that has been around for a long time, has definitely got social acceptance. Like, it's something that most people in know Ripple, even people that are not in the crypto space, they know it. It's a household name. So the first thing that I did was put my kind of opinion aside, and that's really hard to do sometimes. And I think it's something that, especially with this sort of stuff, you know, we become like, we have this sort of viewpoint about certain cryptocurrencies, like you said there, with confidence, Cardano is going to hit $2, just a case of when. And we believe that and we feel that. But how do we know it's going to do that, really? Right? We think it will, but how do we really know? We're maybe attached to that happening. And what happens is, when we're attached to that, like, I find myself then having a slightly different bias towards a certain coin, right? So, like, even like, you know, admittedly, like when we were doing our live session on Saturday and I'm looking at Cardano, I was like doing the analysis, and I'm like, could this go down to 95p? Almost disappointingly, like I was like, no, surely that can't be right. Let me correct that analysis. So it's like I'm catching myself doing that, right? I don't know if anybody picked it up on Saturday, but I pick it up of myself. So anyway, I don't want to kind of digress too much, but I think it's important that you get the picture of what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm looking at this, and what I'm seeing is a market that is literally, for me, ready to explode higher. We are consolidating, we're squeezing, everything around it is generally going up. And so I was like, okay, I need to kind of buy this. So I then went and looked at the lower time frames, and I was looking for value. So this is value. It's a key round number, and we had a lot of order flow of demand at that area. So for me, that is a very, very good probability buy zone. Now, you don't know what's going to happen after, but if you buy at the right price, you've got every chance. It gives you a bit of breathing space. So I could have looked at it here and thought, well, this has gone up. There's a flag there. Let me just get in here. But no, for me, it's like, you've got to get the right price. We know, for those that understand how this works, that is overpriced there, right, Gav? That's overpriced. We need it to be here or less. So we have to get the right price. That's the first thing that I did. So the first thing is identified an undervalued coin. Second, identify the right price to buy it, and then be patient. Put your order in, and if it fills you, it fills you. If it doesn't, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And so the market came down And if we just bring it up, it went a bit higher. Obviously things have retraced a little bit now, but this is literally what happened. So we were, I'll show you on a lower time frame, but so we were here and it literally came down to there and then bounced higher. And obviously it's come back a little bit now. But the point is that if you catch that, it's up to you what you do. For me personally, I'm not looking to sell it. I'm looking to hold this for the breakout. That's my decision. Like for somebody else, you could have used that information, taken a trade. I mean, that's, believe it or not, that's about a 20% move. So you can make 20% within a day or two and come out if you wanted to. But I think that's why I'm using this as an example. But there's so many. I mean, I bought, Ethereum's retraced, but here's the thing that's great. So I can bring it up, unless you've got any questions about this one. But like, where was it? Hold on. Let me just see if I can find the exact trade. Does that make sense? Any questions? But today I posted this one as well. Let's see if it comes up. It was today's one, this one.
Looking at the questions, Neil's message in to say how to know it's overpriced.
Yeah, I'll come to it. What's the date today? 23rd.
23rd for you, yeah. 24th over here.
Don't know what I've posted. Try again. I don't know where it is, but it'd be good just to show you the picture more than anything else. But yeah, but basically I identified Ethereum. Again, I don't have it on this PC, to be fair, but I had a few things. Basically, what I'm basically doing is I bought a 1653, which is there, right? So this market's collapsing.
Yeah. And
my post was, I'm buying at 1653. And now obviously it's come back a little bit there, but look what it's done. By understanding, look, it came to a market angle, some other things. Yeah, that's what it was. 1650. There was a huge amount of demand coming through the order books, and it was basically at my market angle. So I literally just placed it 2 or 3 above 1650, and then the market has basically gone as high as 1723. Now, the fact that it's retraced, that's basically the whole market retracing. But what that basically means is that because I was able to time the market, I'm not losing from that retracement. I'm almost back to scratch on that trade. But it allows me to kind of be quite relaxed about leaving it to kind of do its thing. Because like, you know, when you see your account and it's basically down, it's a different feeling to actually you're just back at scratch. So you're like, okay, well, you know, I can then leave it and then look at the close and make a decision. Actually, do I think it's going to go lower? Maybe I'll try and buy it a bit lower, and scratch it, or actually think, you know what? No, I'm in a good position here. I'm going to leave it alone and see what happens. So like, it just gives you that kind of breathing room, and that's really, really important. It makes such a difference. Like if you buy and you're in drawdown already, like you haven't timed it. So like people jump into stuff, and that's one of the kind of common mistakes. You don't want to miss out, and then you jump in and you're like, oh man, I'm down.
Yep. I can feel you on that. How for me, it's like even just when I time it, and then it goes up and then it retraces. I'm like, oh man, like I'm trying to work out a way where I can see if it's going to retrace so that I can take it out and then get back in. But sometimes it's what's part of your plan, right? Because then if you're saying, well, I know that I can ride this back up to 1900 plus, then it makes sense for you to wait it out, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. So I'm trying to look for the bigger picture. I'm looking at this as like, okay, well, you know, I'm kind of looking at this from the higher time frame point of view. So, you know, I'm not thinking small term on this particular setup. So I'm trying to find a value area where I can buy the coin and then hopefully get a good bounce. I feel quite safe, and then see if we can kind of have a run towards those highs again. And if it doesn't feel like it's going to happen and it's closing quite bearish, the good news is I can then say, well, that's good in a way, because I can now look for it a little bit lower and buy it a bit cheaper, and then that means I make more when I catch it. So don't be attached. So part of my plan here is I'm not attached to this. If I don't like it anymore, I'll either close it or I'll reduce the position and then look again to add tomorrow.
And just a couple of questions to finish it off. So Julie said, Andy, do you usually know how far the market will retrace? Actually, let's go back to Neil's question first. Is that something that we can talk about on this show? Or would you post that in the private group to Neil, because he's a part of the group?
Is Neil part of the group?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How do you know it's overpriced? You can use the VWAP, but we can go through it properly. That's one of the metrics, but we can go through it in the Q&A, Neil.
Yeah, so make sure to post it. We've got a live Q&A with Andy on Thursday evening, so make sure to repost that.
Well, no, Wednesday evening for us, I think, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
Wednesday evening for you guys. Wait, it's Tuesday for you now, right?
Tuesday for us now,
yeah. Yeah, I'm getting confused. It's Wednesday for me. Okay, and then Katerina's in the house. Hi, Katerina. Andy, do you only buy and sell cryptos?
No, we do short sell as well. So, yeah. But you just got to. I wouldn't want to be kind of net short in a bull market, but you can use. You can neutralize your portfolio, so you can kind of hedge it so that you've got some shorts to kind of counterbalance your net, in case the market retraces, so that you're not losing on every trade when it retraces. So your drawbacks are not as big, but yeah, you can do both.
Sorry, mate.
No, that's it, man.
A question for the Q&A I'd like to post. I know I'm on different time zones, so I feel like I'm out of the loop on that a little bit, but when I tried to do that on Binance, it closed my position out. So yeah, on the Q&A, it'd be great to understand how to do that on the same position without it just closing it out. So I was long, and then I tried to go short, and then it just closed the position.
No, yeah, you can't be long and short at the same time.
So it would be great I'll post that in the Q&A so that it's.
Yeah. Well, I can show you how to do it in a different way if you want to do that.
Yeah, show me. I'll
show you how to do it a different way. Yeah, that's fine.
I'll post that question. So, Katerina, hopefully that answered your question. I think quite a few of us have taken a few cheeky shorts, but like Andy said, in the bull market, obviously you don't want to be net short in that. So we're coming up to the hour sessions, guys. The hour session. Thank you very much for tuning in. Obviously, if you couldn't catch it live, then hi to everybody who is tuning in on the rerun. Is there anything you want to say before we bounce, mate?
No, you know, if you're trading, just make sure you're prepared. You know, it can be very dangerous if you're kind of doing it unprepared. As you can kind of see, I'm very, very active in the other group, making sure that people stay calm and collected when things are not, you know, when things are falling, because I know there's a lot of beginners in our group, and, you know, and I know what that feeling's like for me. So I know that for beginners, that must be very frightening. So, you know, for anyone who's trading this stuff, just make sure that you are fully prepared mentally for this game. Otherwise, you know, you really could lose a lot of money. So it's not a game. So, you know, just be careful. But that's all really, guys. From me, anything you want to say, Gavin?
I think you've summed it up beautifully.
Have I been a bit harsh today?
No, mate, not at all. Not to me.
That's good. That's good.
No, it's all good. This is a period of reflection, mate. And you know, at the end of the day, it's, if you mean to me, then you can't be any harsher than I am on myself. So holding myself accountable, and yeah, that's not to me, but I don't know if anybody else has found you a bit harsh, maybe slightly abrasive.
Yeah, I'm tired today, mate, as well.
You
So
are.
I can kind of like hold back a little bit, but like, so when I'm tired, I'm just like, this is it. You know, stop messing around. This is what you need to hear. And some people don't really respond to that, I've got to say. But yeah, it's it is.
No,
what it is.
I for one appreciate it. For sure. So thank you for sharing that. And yeah, look, we'll be back on Thursday evening UK time with Tips Like a Pro.
Wednesday. Stop confusing the people.
Sorry?
Oh no, you're going to say about the Pip show, aren't you? Sorry, mate.
Yes.
I do apologise.
Hey,
I'll just be quiet.
You need to go to sleep. It's either you're hungry or you're tired. If it's both, I don't want to speak to you. We're getting a divorce. We need to go on a break.
All right.
So the next free show will be on Thursday night, Pips Like a Pro, where we talk all things FX. If you're in the private crypto group, then we have a live Q&A, which what I think Andy was trying to say. So we'll be back tomorrow night for that in the private group. So if you're in that, make sure you get your questions ready, because I think we've got two live Q&As left. So let's make the most of that, guys. So start posting your questions in the group. So that's it from me. Have a great evening, guys. Andy, get some much deserved rest.
I will. Adrian's joined us on the crypto course as well. So welcome, Adrian. Just thought I'd say that as well. But just one last thing that I just remembered. I've had one or two people reach out to me on Messenger, you know, saying, you know, is it too late to be on the crypto course? They feel like they're being left behind because everybody's kind of pushing forward. It's not the case. Like, you know, you can join at any time. You know, if you want to kind of learn, it doesn't matter if somebody's ahead of you. I almost think, like, if it was me, I'd feel a little bit like that. But also I'd think, well, I think Frosty was saying it as well. Actually, it might be a good thing, because you don't want the group to be all beginners. You want them to be kind of elevating you so that you can aspire to get there. So that's kind of part of, you know, you don't want to be the smartest guy in the room ever. Even though we want to be for our egos, you never want to be the smartest guy in the room. So don't let that put you off anything. So, I mean, I'm speaking about this specific thing, but in general, don't feel like, oh man, I'm not okay to be in this group because I don't know enough. You know, just take your time and develop and learn, and don't be afraid of like having a peer group that's maybe a little bit further ahead from you. So that's it.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. And also on that note, so you have missed the live masterclasses, but they have been recorded, and every student gets access to them. So they're in the bonus section. So we've put them into the back end of the program. So you've still got 6 hours of masterclass with Andy. So you'll understand how he goes into the market, how he looks for these things, how he works out how things are overpriced, how to get into a trade and things like that, and just over many multiple cryptos. Yeah, so you've got that, and work at your own pace, guys. Like I've said before, we don't have to be in a rush to get to the gold. We're all on our own journeys. So you coming on this, it might take you 3 months, it could take you 3 years, but you're taking action and you're moving towards what you want to do. So if this is in front of you, yeah, it's not too late. Maybe if we're having this conversation in a year's time, we might be saying something slightly different, right, mate? Who knows? Who knows? We don't know.
Yeah, then who knows what I'll be saying.
Yeah, just we'll make sure that he's rested and he's not grumpy next time. All right, guys, look, thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great night. And
Take care, guys.
This week, depending on which group you're in. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Take care, everybody.